Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. Today is a super exciting day to be working on the Evo 8. We received all our package that came in to do our fuel system right here on the table, guys. We are going to be running the Radium dual hanger double pumper 450, also the plumbing kit, all the lines they came with, 2 hardware kits. I am so pumped right now because I've been wanting to do this for a while now, ever since we had that detonation on cylinder 4. The last thing I really want to do is to prevent that happening. So we are going to go all out on the fuel system. That way we can have all the fuel system support, and also we can go ahead and run ethanol and turn this bad boy up. I decided to take everything out of the box just to make sure that we have everything we need to do the system. I'm telling you guys, this thing is freaking beautiful. We are waiting on one more pump that is coming in, but at least for now we can get this started. So Radium do have an instruction on their website, which it makes it easy, and hopefully I can understand how to put everything together. The first thing I want to tackle will be the dual hanger. It does come with the strainer, comes with the fitting, comes with the clamps, everything that you can think of right over here to get this going. Alright guys, we got the adapter on the first fuel pump. So you're gonna have 2 packages if you're gonna be running like the double pumper, but they do come with these half moon retainer clips in this package, O-ring, and also 3 Allen screw with blue Loctite. On the website it does show you where they want you to install the retainer. 2 pieces of the half moon retainer will be sitting right in that first groove, and then you put the O-ring right over there. Now we're all finished up with this piece. This plug was already wired up to the Radium hanger, so you can see right here. If you flip it over, it's all labeled. It's already at power and ground from underneath. So we can go ahead and get the fuel pump installed, plug it to this guy, and we're pretty much good. Alright guys, we got the first pump in. Let's move on to doing the plumbing kit. We got the filter right here, bracket over here, which this guy is going to sit on top here. We're going to go ahead and get this installed first, see how it's put together. We got the filter installed on the bracket, guys. There are 5 Allen screws. 3 of them are going to go through the bottom clamp using a nut, which is an 8mm, and then half of the clamp that's holding on the filter is going to use 2 Allen screws in place. We got 2 AN fittings on both sides. Now the fun part is to get these lines that we're going to be using and the other things into the car. So I think the first thing that I want to do is to remove the OEM hanger, which is underneath the seat, just right where the cover is at. Pop the cover off, disconnect all the lines, disconnect the plug to the hanger. Then we can pull the OEM hanger out and retrieve the fuel level sensor out of from there to put them in the Radium hanger. So we got the OEM hanger out. Fuel level sensor is what we need. Also, we do need this gasket and our old good single 450 Walbro that is on this OEM hanger. And the reason why we can't use this one is because, if you guys know, when using a 450 Walbro on the OEM hanger, there is a modification that you have to do. Here in the Radium website on the picture where it shows that we had to use that retainer on the groove of the fuel pump, the top groove we had to shave down in order to make it work with the 450 Walbro on the OEM hanger. And because it's modified, there is a chances where the adapters that we had to use would not work well. So that's the reason why that I had to order another one, because unfortunately we can't use this. But it's okay, because this, if anything, if we wanted to make more power on Jalen's Evo, that 450 Walbro can go in there, and she doesn't really need to make all the sauce in the world. Like about 450, 475 is what we're shooting for in the future. But we do have something coming when I go to Hawaii next month to bring home. So I'm excited for that. And by the way, she doesn't even know that we're buying something for her, so we'll just keep it that way. Let's go ahead and jack up the car, put it on jack stand, so that way we can install this beautiful plumbing kit underneath the car where it needs to be. I might drain the gas out. Honestly, I don't know why I put gas. I mean, I wanted to enjoy the car for a few days before we went to go do any changes. Underneath the car where the rubber plug is by the chassis line, we need to flip this guy upside down so that way we have a flat surface to clear where the plumbing kit bracket needs to sit. So there's 3 bolts that we need to remove, one on this side, one at the other side, and this side over here where this bracket sits. Alright guys, so we lowered on the tank, we bend that section where Radium recommended us to do. We also disconnect this rubber hose over here, also disconnect this line. We are going to be using that line anyway, so we'll have to disconnect that side right there. Here is the hard line, or the chassis line you should say, that was sitting on top of the tank that we need to remove because we're no longer going to be using this anymore. It is an 8mm nut, so all you have to do is just bend that section down on the tank. That way you can throw in your wrench on top there, enough room to just crack it loose. The amount of room that you lower down the tank is enough to where we can actually run our lines through. And this is the line right here. I'm gonna put this through the tank in the car first. That way we can just pull the lines and then we can route it underneath the car to the filter. So this is how our setup currently looks. Our -6AN line that's to the adapter of the OEM feed is now our return line. So that runs up to our fuel pressure regulator. So the OEM return line is no longer used on this situation where we're running the plumbing kit. So unfortunately we can't install this guy to this fitting because that is a -6AN fitting. So I got one order is coming in with the adapter of the -6AN female to a -AN male, so we can work with this guy. We're gonna connect the -AN line to this guy right here. So this guy needs to be removed and this guy needs to be installed. Before we go any further on doing the hardwire kit on the fuel pump, the hood dump needs to come back out again. I know we just installed the CVS radiator and the other things, but in order to get this thing dialed in, where we can close the hood. My friend Mark came by, took a look at it, and did mention that we can cut in this section and have the pipe come out. This guy over here that divided gasket on the O2 housing, this needs to go on the hood dump. And the reason why that we need to install this, because the gasket that is on the hood dump doesn't have a divider. Turbo and O2 housing is out, so while we're waiting for Mark to come by, let's go ahead and tackle the hardwire kit. So on Radium website, what you need to do is to remove the 87A wire on the relay, which is this middle wire right here. Top of the terminal at the middle, there is a pin, so we just gotta unlock that, pull that wire out. Alright guys, so we got our 2 relays over here wired up to our fuse link. So these 2 orange wire and those 2 red wires from the relay are interchangeable, so it doesn't really matter which way it goes. This is how I have mine set. I already got the fuse on both sides, so that's all taken care of. This orange wire over here is gonna run to the battery, which our battery is in the engine bay. So we do have a long extension power wire that we can wire up to this orange wire and run all the way into the car, to the engine bay, to the battery. This orange wire is wired up to this red wire. This orange wire right here is wired up to the relay. This red wire over here is gonna go to our pump number 1 connected on our hanger. Our blue wire is our trigger wire that is gonna be wired to the power wire to our fuel pump harness, which we're gonna be ditching this plug. 2 relays here, doesn't matter which one we're gonna be using. But for our second pump, it's going to be a little bit different. For example, this will be for our second pump. The trigger wire we're going to be using, we're going to hook it up to a hop switch. Haven't really decided how I want the setup to look. Hopefully I can find a spot to where that I can clear the wires without having to put the cover on top of it and smashing the wires. But I guess we'll just figure out and see where we go from there. We just got our second fuel pump right here, our 450 Walbro, and get everything completed on this hanger. Radium hanger is fully complete now. We got both double pumpers 450. Fuel level sensor is installed. Blue wire goes in the middle, brown wire goes to the right. Everything else on this Radium hanger it's all nice and tight and ready to get dropped into the tank. First time didn't go through, so I rerouted the 2 plugs on the double pumper just like this. So now it should able to go in nicely. Alright guys, so we're all pretty much getting all the wires done on the Radium hanger, looms on the wires, but I think we got to the point where we can actually crank the car and hear the fuel pump for the first time. So right now we got 1 wire that is running to the pump number 1. I still need to do the trigger wire for the hop switch on the second pump, but we got our proper adapter fitting that we needed to use the 8 AN lines to the rail. Coming over here, we got our wires that is run behind the carpet, so I did drill a hole to the body, ran wires right straight to both pumps and the fuel level sensor and everything else that is wired up. Running over here, our fuse link coming from the back with our 2 relays right there. What I end up doing, I drill 2 hoses, sand down the surfaces. The 2 ground wires from the relay is all bolted up to the body, along with the ground wires on the body to the fuel pump over there. So 2 ground wires on each relay is all tightened to the ground. 2 power wires, one that is running to the pump, one is running all the way to the battery, and our trigger wire, which is this first relay right there, runs to the power of the main harness to the pump. And then our second pump, which is our power and ground, that wire right there runs to back on the relay. And then our trigger wire, which is this guy that we need to run to our hub switch, is going to activate our second pump once it sees like 8-10 psi, whichever we're gonna have it set at. But we're gonna hook that up later. We got our feed lines zip tied to the body, all tightened up to the filter. Let's go ahead and attempt our first crank or the Radium system for the very first time. I'm excited. Of course, there is no gas in the car right now. I need to get gas, but I want to make sure that when we crank the car, the fuel pump's gonna turn on. If you guys know that Evo 8, 9, or possibility 10s, that on the stock ECU, when you turn on the ignition, you have to crank the car and then the fuel pump primes. That's just how it works on a stock ECU. For standalone, it's probably different. When you turn on the ignition, the fuel pump prime. I'm kind of excited but nervous at the same time. Something is definitely not right. Let's try this again. I want to put gas in the car. Definitely for sure want to start up the car and then check for leaks. This car has pressure and it's gonna start. Just has air in the system. Woo! We did it, guys. First start on the new fuel system in the Evo 8. Damn, that feels so good. Car runs very good, I must say, for the past few days. We actually had to adjust fuel pressure. So when I was reading at the gauge, it was at 45 psi. So of course, when you pull the vacuum line, it's gonna bump up to like 5 psi. So it's around 50 psi, you should say. Adjusted back down to 44 psi with the vacuum lines off. And since then, she's been running really good. We only died out once. That kind of fixed our issue. But other than that though, no fuel leaks. Of course that we can't do any pulls. But as for now, I'm just taking it nice and easy on the car, just to make sure that the car is running good and that it'll be ready for dyno day. Also, we got some fresh tires all around. got me an Ironman. Heard some good things about it, so I just went with it. Just want to give a huge shout out to Dominic and Ray for ordering these parts for me, and huge shout out to Radium for making the awesome fuel system of the world. Love the quality. If you guys want to pick up all these parts that we installed on my Evo, I'll have a link down in the description box below, and hopefully that this video helped a little bit. If not, there's always other videos out there. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, guys. Soon to get this car on a dyno to make 600 wheel horsepower on a stock block, hopefully. If not, I'll be happy on the 6. So aloha guys, I'll see you guys on the next one.